Hi everybody, so this is going to be my new beginners quick start guide, how to get into playing multiplayer Mike Force from the Arma 3 DLC SOG Prairie Fire. And I want to say straight away, the idea of this video is I want to show you how easy it is to get into and start enjoying Mike Force, because we're going to be using a particular server that makes it very, very easy to do that. Because when you first start playing Arma or Arma 3, it can be quite intimidating multiplayer. You might be like, oh gosh, this all seems so complicated. And Mike Force, if you read any of the guides for it, can seem really complicated as well. But we're going to go into a server that makes things easy, that basically what's going to happen is we get transported to the combat zone, we fight, and then we move on to the next combat zone. And it makes it easy to understand. We don't have to worry about some of the more complicated parts of it. However, in the description below this video, I will connect to a couple of really good tutorials that go through some of the more advanced parts of playing Mike Force as well. But don't worry, we're not going to be doing that in this video. So obviously you'll want to own Arma 3, you'll want to own the SOG Prairie Fire DLC. Now I'm going to put links to the various Mike Force, I guess you call them mods for Steam as well, because Mike Force is available on a number of maps. So you can go and you can subscribe to them as well, because you can actually play Mike Force on Altis as well. So I would say subscribe to all of these to start off with. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fire up the Arma 3 launcher, and we're just going to make sure that we've got the Prairie Fire DLC selected, like you can see there. And we're going to make sure we haven't got any mods selected, because the server we're going to play on doesn't allow any extra mods. And then we're going to hit play. And after a few seconds, hopefully not too many, we're going to go into the server browser and we're going to find Mike Force. Now Mike Force is like a massive game of Battlefield's Conquest kind of thing. So we're going to start off in Vietnam in this particular case, on one of the maps, not sure which it'll take us into, at a particular base. And then we're going to get equipped, and I'm going to show you how to go into the arsenal to do that. And then we're going to go to where the helicopters are, and literally we'll be transported to the combat zone, and we're going to talk to you about some of the things that happen. Okay, so we want to go into multiplayer, and we want to go to Mike Force, as you can see here. And the particular server that you want to try is this one, A Vietnam Story, 1965 to 1969. It will probably come up near the top of the server browser. And the reason why we're choosing this one is that these guys have got a specific rule set that makes Mike Force simpler for new starters. And that rule set is, when you spawn in, you will spawn in basically as a member of Mike Force. So you will be a soldier. You won't be an engineer, you won't be anything like that. You won't be a pilot or member of the armoured cavalry. You're purely a soldier. And the way that it works is, you go to the airfield and you jump on a helicopter, and I think it's the people who are associated with this server, probably on their Discord, they're the pilots, and so they will take you to the area of operations. You jump off, you do the tasks that you have to do, which involve destroying anti-aircraft places, destroying mortars, taking over the enemy HQ, and then defending it, and then surviving as the enemy attack your forward operating base, your FOB. You take over the area, and then the helicopters will arrive, and then you go on to the next area. So it's really simple. You don't have to worry about digging and knowing how to build stuff or anything like that. You just need to enjoy fighting and playing Arma in Vietnam. So I'm going to join the server now, and then we're going to show you some of the other details to get you started. Okay, here we go. So we're in the role assignment bit, but we're just going to say OK to this, and we're going to jump in, and we'll see where we spawn in, which map it is, and which part of the map we're on. Basically there's 3 or 4 kind of bases which you start off at. One is the airfield, one is the ACAV, armoured cavalry, one is I think spike teams, and one is the Mike Force sort of groups. And we can do various things at these places, but the most important thing to start off with when you first go in, hello, now, most important thing is to sort out your loadout. So that's what we're going to kind of do to start off with. So my guy now hasn't got anything on him, has he? So let's go over here to the virtual arsenal. Now, in order to find the arsenal, if you press M to bring up the map, this will tell you where you are. Now, what are we on? We are in... this is... right, we're on the K-Sun map. But if you zoom in, you'll find yourself, and you'll also find... There we go, the duty officer, supply officer. There's the arsenal there. So the arsenal is, depending on the server settings, you'll have a full arsenal to play around with. So if I go into this one, so I press spacebar, and if I click on load, you'll see that I've got these presets already set up. So if I go with my PF template 2, if we load this one up, and press escape, and then come over here, and then we press I to have a look, you can see what is in my loadout, and this is what you want to create, I think, for a kind of a fun loadout. Now, I've got the M16 with the 4x on and a suppressor. I've got the flare launcher as my secondary, and as my launcher, sorry, and then I've got the axe. Now, the reason why you have the axe is because you use it to cut down trees. So when you're at a forward operating base and your lines of fire are restricted, you can use the axe to go and cut down trees so you can see better. Now, you'll always want lots of first aid kits, so you'll see that I actually have I have 16 first aid kits. I've got 2 2-litre canteens. I've got anti-malaria meds, 3 anti-venoms because you'll get bit by snakes an awful lot, some dysentery meds, and 2 cans of peaches. And then in my gear I've got more first aid kits, another canteen, and more flare launchers. Now, you want the flare launchers because at night they are really, really important so you can see what you're doing. And in my backpack I've got the shovel. Now, to get the axe and the shovel, you equip them as secondaries, and then drop them on the floor and put them in your backpack, and then you can go and get the other thing. More first aid kits, 14 mags for my M16, 3 more canteens, 15 grenades, breaching charges so I can blow up things when I need to, more flares, 15 oranges because they give you sort of food and water. I've got 10 sandbags as well, and I find this kind of works for me. And you can set up different loadouts depending on what you fancy being, like an LMG or something like that. Now, in the bottom right hand corner you should see we've got our food and we've got our hydration. So as you're going along, you'll want to keep eating and keep drinking, and that's why when you go to forward operating bases and things, you'll see supplies that you can then use, and in fact aircraft will have supplies and vehicles will have supplies in them. If you get ill, this is when things like anti-venom, so if you get bit by a snake you get like a poison sign, and you might see your character throwing up, and this is where you've probably got dysentery. And to use anything like food or drink, you just double click on it and say take medicine, or eat or drink or anything like that. Now, if we press map as well, we should be able to see, if we zoom out a bit, here we go. So all these green areas, so this game has been going on for quite a while, these have been captured, so these are all friendly now. And then what we're going to be doing is we'll be jumping into helicopters and we'll be flying to here, the current area of operations. And you can see there's tasks still to do, so destroy sites that need to be found and destroyed, destroy enemy supplies, and they'll also be they'll have set up a forward operating base, like AA gun maybe here, secondary AA, so they need to be destroyed. They'll have set up a FOB, which is there, FOB tight shack, and so that will be attacked, so you've got to defend it. And the last big task you tend to have is it's basically you have to kill everybody in the area, but the enemies all tend to come to you. Then this will then turn green, the helicopters will arrive, and they'll take you to the next area of operations. And what's really cool is that on this server, that's what all these helicopters are doing. You jump on a helicopter, they'll take you there, and you'll be in the thick of the action fairly quickly to do that sort of thing. So when you first jump in, use the arsenal to create your kit, and then you want to save your kit and give it a preset. So I've got an LMG set up, I've got a sniper set up, and I've got my PF template 2, which is just my general purpose M16 template as well. Oh, and one thing I said actually, although my M16 does have the 4x scope on it, I can pretty quickly go into my backpack, take it off, and then I've got iron sights, for more close quarters combat, doing it like that. Now you'll also find around the map, you'll find your duty officer. Now on other servers, when you talk to this guy, you can train to be different things like medics and things like that. But I think you're a medic basically out of the box on this particular server. And you'll also find the fast travel. So if you're on a map where you spawn in and you're not near at the helicopter base, go to the map, press 6, and go to the helicopter base, which is where I am already. That doesn't look very well as well. And you'll be good to go. As I say, just bring up the M, hit the circle to show where you are, and then find the arsenal and sort that out. And really, that's it now. I mean, we could try joining a squad, we could talk to somebody. Remember, you've got your chat channels on your full stop and your comma to go through those, so you can voice chat by pressing and holding caps, or you can press / to bring up. And basically the next thing really to do is just to jump on a helicopter when we need to, find one that's going somewhere. Right, these guys, alright, this guy's look like he's going somewhere, so let's jump on. And sometimes what you find, helicopters doing things like transporting supplies as well, so they don't always zoom off straight away. As you can see, we've got helicopters coming and going. If we go and look at the AO, there's lots of people sort of already at the AO. There'll be helicopters shuttling backwards and forwards, and you're going to get into the action probably reasonably quickly. Here comes, oh, helicopter blew up there, didn't it? Without having to worry about some of the more tricky parts of the game, like learning how to build and how to dig and how to create a FOB, how to put lights up and all that sort of stuff. So this guy, as you can see, is going to pick up this tank and he's going to be taking it to the AO as well. So what I'll do is I will fast forward until we get to the AO, and then I'll talk about some of the basics when we get there. Okay, so our pilot is getting us fairly close to the AO that you can see there. And just look at it, it looks amazing. Look at all this tracer fire.
Alright, somebody can jump into the seat when I ask you to please release this tank. Trying to get you on the ground and get this shit out of here.
We've got an amazing pilot. So he's going to drop the tank first.
Release.
It's gone.
And hopefully he's going to get me low enough to get out.
Please don't forget to go ahead and unload the cargo as y'all disembark. And as always, one call, that's all. Thank you for shooting, boy, they got this thing all kind of wobbly.
Right, there we go. I'm out. Cool. So let's get somewhere safe. And what we can do now is actually, if you bring up H, this is interesting. This is like your little diary that goes on that tells you different things. And you can see the tasks that are going on. Again, because this server makes things nice and simple, we just really need to defend the FOB, especially when you get the defend the FOB missions. And then we could go out with other soldiers and find these sites and destroy them. Until we destroy these and destroy all the enemies that are in this area, this will remain a red area of operations. But there's nothing wrong with kind of hanging out here and enjoying the ambience of getting used to being in Vietnam in Prairie Fire, and you will have an awful lot of fun. Just be aware that sometimes you'll get counter-attack imminent, and they'll start coming in. Now what I would say is, if you hang around with other players, what you find is a lot of the time, you'll get they'll invite you to their group and you start chatting with them, and as soon as you're playing with other people, the game gets much better. Now if you do get shot like this, and no, I didn't do this deliberately, but I could have pretended to, you wait about a minute and then you'll get the option to withstand. You can see we've got these handy little tutorials on the right hand side, and that what will then happen is you will revive yourself rather than hitting escape and respawning and ending up back. And if you've got lots of field medic kits, lots of first aid kits like I have, you can pretty much keep this going for as long as you like. In fact, I think, but I'm not quite sure, I think that on this server they have a setting where you can continually keep using withstand to to sort of revive yourself. I could be wrong about that. There will, however, be certain situations where there's no point doing it because you'll be overrun and you'll have enemies all around you. And as soon as you revive yourself, they'll just shoot you. So sometimes it's not worth doing it, and you might as well just respawn and kind of start again, and then maybe take a little bit more care as you go along in the future. Remember, keep an eye on those stats in the bottom right hand corner. Don't worry about adding things to different things. In fact, what I should probably do is go in my inventory and let's put my optic back on my M16. I'll tell you what we could do as well to make things a bit brighter. Could send up a flare. At night especially, the flares are very good. And then we can join the fight, and that's it. And now we're part of Mike Force. I think it's a friendly tank out there. That's a friendly. Don't know what he's doing out there. He's gone past the wire. There goes a helicopter. I mean, how cool is this? I mean, I would also say as well, don't be put off by fighting at night, because at night in Mike Force it is absolutely amazing and looks so cool, and I enjoy it immensely. Okay, so hopefully this has given you enough hints and tips to get you started in this amazing game mode. This is an absolutely brilliant server to play on because it just simplifies stuff. And kind of finally, just keep an eye out when you get the server message that the area has been cleared, because this will go green and the helicopters will come to pick you up, and make sure you jump on one so that you can then be taken to the next area of operations. Otherwise you'll kind of be left behind and you'll be left with a very long jog or a long run in order to get to the next sort of place, so that you can keep up with the action. Right, well that's enough from me. Hopefully you found this useful. If you have it, like, want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and I will of course see you again soon.